we've got Mark Knight here with us. He's come all the way from Spain. Many of you know him already. I know this is going to, be something new to many people, and for others something they're very, very familiar with. So, without further ado, I'm very happy to introduce Mark Knight, aka Waykiwayki, with Spinning Globe Earth Deconstruction, Flat Earth and Soul Implications. Thank you.
Hi there everyone. It's great so many people have come. I just want to get a bit of a demographic first. Who here has heard about Flat Earth but they're not quite sure and they've got an open mind? Okay. Who's totally with the spinning globes but wanted to get warm and have a cup of tea? Okay, obviously it's tea. Who here have actually done quite a lot of Flat Earth research and they're completely sort of living on the Flat Earth? Okay, so it's sort of half and half. Maybe I've split it so you don't fight or anything. What I'm going to do, I'm going to show quite a few images because I think the Flat Earth information is very visual. You can sort of talk, but without the visuals it doesn't do that much. And before I start, I know how crazy it sounds. I mean, believe me, I'm not one of those crazy conspiracy theorists, some say. It really does sound crazy, and we've been very, very deeply conditioned from a young age. But bear with me. If you've got questions, because they will arise, could you please leave them to the end? Because certain information might dissipate those questions, or new questions may arise. So if you could leave them till the end. I welcome some heckles, because I do have some memes for you if you want to heckle, but questions please leave. Okay, what I hope to show is that you are not here, and it's kind of a bold statement, but if you think about it, do you know who took that photo? It's not a photo. Nothing can actually go that far. I'm also going to present that you are not here. This is a famous galaxies picture of our universe. We've seen these images since we were young. But that's not a real photo. That's not conspiracy, that's fact. That's not a photo. You can't go that far. That is a CGI image. And that's real, that's a fact. Even if you're on the spinning ball, you know that's a CGI image. So what I want is just people to have an open mind if they're new to this. The globe is something we've seen from a very young age. And some of you may even had stars pajamas. So just keep an open mind, because this is something I've done. I did 3,000 hours research on this before I went public a couple of years ago. It's not something I came to lightly. So here we can see what I want to show first is some errors and inconsistencies in the spinning ball model. Here we can see two official NASA images. And we can see there's a problem. The size of North America has changed. And these are official NASA images. I've never seen the sea that blue. I mean, sea from a plane tends to be sort of greeny or a different sort of blue. I've never seen that sort of blue before. And here we can see similar again, some more discrepancies in the size of North America. Again, they're both official NASA images. And over the years, we've been shown many different images of this blue marble, especially more so since the internet came out. I think up to the early 90s, there was just one image really they kept using. So on Google Images a few years ago, if you typed in Earth from space, you would just see the same image for the first few pages, just with a different contrast, maybe flipped, maybe rotated. So here we can see lots of different images of Earth. And of course, if these are photos, I would expect a bit of blur because the Earth's spinning at 1,000 miles an hour. We'll come on to that. And that's where I'm at now. Beautiful, fake Earth. Of course, it's going to take a lot more information to get to that for much of you guys. So, what they tell us is that we spin at 1,000 miles an hour, the Earth itself on its own axis, that we travel 66,000 miles an hour around the Sun, that the Sun's flying through the galaxy at 483,000 miles an hour, and the galaxy's flying through the universe at 1.3 million miles an hour, yet there's not one instrument or device that can give us evidence or proof of this. And that's not conspiracy, that is a fact. Now, does anyone here feel like they're going that fast? No. But of course there's physics reasons for that and there's astrophysics reasons for that. But we'll come to that in a little bit. With these sort of numbers, with this sort of movement, I find it strange that we see the same constellations every night. Because with that sort of fast movement, I would expect some parallax in the sky. I can explain that a bit better here. So every night, we can, in the northern hemisphere, we can do a time-lapse photography of Polaris, and the stars all moving directly around it. Now, if we were moving this fast, with this sort of crazy motion, spins within direct motion forward, I would expect some parallax. Some stars further away, they say, to be moving differently to some of the stars nearer. But we never witness any parallax. I would also expect something like this maybe, when you're driving in the snow and all the snow comes towards the windscreen, I would expect some of that. But what the Church of NASA does, they get around this by saying everything's so far away. They say that Polaris is 2,604 trillion miles away, which is, and there's not one device or instrument that can prove that. You can't go to an astrophysics laboratory and say, prove that to me, because they can't. And it isn't hard to become an astrophysicist. You just don't go out and you just read the books. And then you get a memory test saying, have you remembered the books? But, yeah, much like school. But with this sort of get out of jail card NASA have used by putting the stars so far away, it doesn't solve this problem. Now, in June, on the summer solstice, if we face the sun, it's daytime. If we face the other way, it's nighttime. Now, 186 million miles later, December, the Earth's going around the sun, remember, half a hemisphere. In December, we look towards the sun, daytime. We look out to the stars, nighttime. So, in December, we're 186 million miles away from where we were in June. We're looking in exactly the opposite direction, and we can see the same stars in the sky. That's not right. And that's not conspiracy. That's not me mucking around, that is a fact. So they also say that the atmosphere is spinning with the Earth. So if you think the Earth's spinning at 1,000 miles an hour, the higher altitude would be spinning a bit faster to keep up with the spin of the Earth. But then we have things like this going on. Big smoke clouds that don't show any diagonal motion. They use the word gravity to get around this, but we'll come on to that in a little bit. Because one immediate thought is if a helicopter took off and hovered, the Earth would spin and the helicopter would land in a different place. But that doesn't happen. Because they say that the atmosphere is spinning with the Earth. Now, some people have said this to me, throwing a ball up on a moving train and it falling straight down, therefore the Earth rotates and we don't feel it. And some people have actually said that to me, and that's a kind of crazy thing to say. It's a massive leap. Just taking off a little tangent here. One thing no human here has ever seen, because no human has ever seen it, is we all know shooting stars, and they're always overhead, diagonally overhead. No one has ever seen a shooting star come up from below the horizon. So if you're at the beach one day somewhere on a clear night, no one has ever seen a shooting star pop up from below the horizon. On a spinning ball, that should happen. I hope that makes sense to you. Some of these might need a bit of contemplation. But no one's ever seen a shooting star pop up from below the horizon. And on a spinning ball, you should. So this was a big one for me a few years ago when I was studying this. I was like, how does a vacuum exist next to a non-vacuum? And I went to see some scientists about this. And I said, why does the vacuum not suck out the atmosphere? That's how a vacuum works. And he didn't know. And this other scientist didn't know, and they just got quite angry with me. They got quite triggered. And I said, okay then. I said, how high up is this line? Where is this line between air, atmosphere, butterflies, clouds, and the vacuum of outer space? I said, is it 80 miles up? Is it 100 miles up? No one knew. And I stayed up all night looking online. I was phoning up these scientists. No one knew. And I said, well, how does that work? And the scientists say this. They say the spinning atmosphere just gradually gets less oxygen and becomes a vacuum of outer space. And I laughed in this guy's face. I said, you can't say that. That's crazy talk. You can't replicate that for me in a laboratory, and they can't. So this is kind of like a fairy tale that we can't prove again. It's a fairy tale with no evidence. But these are things we don't question because they're put into us at such a young age. This, we're told, is the Milky Way and the centre of the galaxy. But there's no instrument and no device that can prove that. What the ancients have done, they call this the dark rift, and they say it's very close. And there's monstrous myths all around the world about this dark rift. I actually made a documentary about the myths in this dark rift, and it's on YouTube, readily available. So when you see that, when you say that's the Milky Way centre of the galaxy, you don't really know that. You're just doing reflex, subconscious repetition. All you know is that there's some light in the sky. And you can phone around the physics departments or astrophysics departments, they can't prove to you that's the centre of the galaxy, because it isn't. So, the lesser spotted curvature. Let's have a look at this.